Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're gonna do color for ZIMSEC for 2021. Okay, so this is just a specimen. The ideas that we're going to discuss here will be very much relevant to any color guide that you can get. Okay, so this will be relevant for biology, physics, chemistry, especially. We're just demonstrating for maths. Okay, so just stick around. I'll tell you something at the end that will be like very useful to you. So color, it's essentially the stuff that people into 2021 were getting, and there was a lot of controversy about this because most of the teachers were kind of resistant, saying that it's not very useful to students, and then some were saying that it might be a little bit unthinkable considering the COVID pandemic. So we want to best admit, I think this is the greatest thing that would ever happen to anyone who's studying right now. Why? Because it's essentially giving you 30 marks for free, so 30% for free. Why am I saying for free? Just because you have the ability to just go home and then research well and then polish up, consult some other people who can guide you through it, and then you'll be able to ace your color assessment. Okay, so this is what it would look like. You have this part here, which is where you're supposed to fill in your details, and then they actually give you a background and also a task to say, this is what we want you to do. So the background for this color was there's a need for floor renovations using tiles. Therefore, you're required to take floor measurements of at least 2 rooms with the different dimensions of your choice. So you can choose anything. You can choose a sitting room, a dining room. You can choose your own bedroom. If you don't have, still you can just make up rooms if you want. But essentially, you have to clearly show some of the objectives that are laid out here. Okay, so you asked the most specific or most direct question for this color was is supposed to clearly show the calculation for the areas of each room. Okay, so and the tiles and the number of tiles required. So you can think of it as you're someone who consults, maybe who actually does the tiling for rooms. Okay, so there are certain calculations that you need to do. You need to know the floor area so that you can prepare the number of tiles that you would require. Sometimes these tiles are actually sold in blocks, so it's also good to reflect some of those items. Okay, so to make it more interesting, you can actually include some information. There's no negative marking here, so just to demonstrate that you've done your research well, you can even include some information, including maybe budgeting information, just to show that you really know what you're doing. And also the use of jargon. So jargon, it simply means a specialized language. So if you are a builder, if you're doing any building, then there's a certain way that you use your words. There are certain words that you use. So if you reflect some of those words, it might go a long way in your assessment and you getting so many marks. Okay, just a disclaimer before we move on. We're not really saying that whatever we're giving you here would guarantee you the best marks. But what we're saying is this is essentially an overview that will help you somehow do well in your color. So the task is you're required to take measurements of at least 2 rooms with different dimensions. Okay, so different dimensions, it means the floor area or the dimensions for the floor, they must be different. Okay, so I would advise you to actually choose a bigger room and then a smaller room. The bigger room could be if you live in a house. So the bigger room would be the sitting room. And the smaller room, you could take maybe your bedroom, something like that. Okay, if you don't have those, you can still ask maybe a landlord or even ask a friend to go and then do those measurements. And sometimes, as you will see, you actually have to be very tactful with it. How do you play around with numbers can actually influence your marks here. Okay, so they don't have to be the exact measurements. You can choose measurements that are kind of easier for you to actually deal with. And also tiles, they also come in various shapes and various dimensions. So reflecting the area of the room, it's also advisable for you to choose tiles that would fit perfectly there. Okay, that's what I think the people who actually do the tiling actually do in order for them to make their job easier. Okay, so you're supposed to draw up a plan for each room using an appropriate scale. Okay, so they want you to demonstrate scale drawing. So scale drawing, that means you actually have to have a proper scale that you'd use, and then you'd use that scale to draw up what would be a model or a part of that room. Okay, so you're asked to find the actual area of each room as well. So you can use your scale to actually find the actual area, or you can use the dimensions that you'll be having there. Okay, so you calculate the number of tiles needed for each room, and then some other information also on how you be assessed. So the teacher is this is a teacher's guide, but then it also helps you to know exactly where to emphasize and also what to include. Okay, so for example, measuring skills, so how you measure, so you should demonstrate that. Okay, what instruments are you using? Okay, the evidence of the appropriate instruments used. So you're supposed to include the units of measurement as well. So for your lengths, your widths, and also your area. So you're supposed to include that. So correct scale drawing. So correct means you're supposed to actually use a specific scale there, and also finding the area of scale drawing. So you're supposed to do that, and finding the scale factor, and the use of scale factor to calculate actual area of the room, then calculation of number of tiles for each room. Okay, so these are essentially how you be assessed. And let's see, do you have anything? Okay, so the size of the tiles you have chosen, you're supposed to demonstrate that as well. So they didn't serialize their requirements, it's still fine, you can figure it out. And without further ado, we'll just show you at least some of the aspects that you'll be doing. Okay, so this is the easiest. Again, I have to emphasize this is the easiest part of your learning. Why? Because you have the opportunity to just go. You can even consult people who actually do the tiling in your locality. There might be someone who is doing construction. You can ask them how they do it, and then you can have a rough idea. And just think of this as a life exercise as well. Why? Because this is mathematical modeling. They want you to demonstrate what you have learned and also the application in real life. Okay, so they want you to demonstrate the use of numbers, how you manipulate them, dividing them using simple ratios, at least for this case. Okay, so this will be particularly interesting. So what we do is I'm going to tell you some of the stuff. I think I will overlap into the next video, but then just to give you an overview. So this is the Premier Learner's Guide. I'm going to tell you something at the end of this video, so stay tuned. It will really help you, especially if you haven't done or submitted your CALA yet. Okay, so what is CALA? The acronym simply means an abbreviation. Okay, so CALA, it simply means Continuous Assessment Learning Activity. So they'll be assessing you continuously using various activities. It's an opportunity for you to demonstrate how you have understood your learning, and also some of the requirements. Okay, and also how you apply that learning to everyday life. Okay, that's the purpose of learning at the end of the day. That's why this is an exceptional project. I actually applaud the government for doing this. Okay, so it's an opportunity for students to apply the concepts that they have learned in class, to investigate. You should be able to investigate, you should be able to explain, and also to create useful models and implementation plans to everyday problems or activities. Okay, so everything around us, most of it is just math. How you deal with money, how you deal with anything, budgeting, it's simply math. Okay, so a good CALA submission is such that any person with a basic understanding of the subject, so in our case it'd be maths, so anyone who understands basic maths, at least the objectives that are being tested here, they can take that CALA and then they can use without needing any other information. Okay, they can carry out the activity required. So if you actually accomplish this, we'll say that you'll be at a position for you to get and score very good marks. So investigate means it's a mostly research. Okay, so you're supposed to investigate, how do you do this, how do you measure the flow of a room. Is it like they measure one time and then they extrapolate, or is it like they measure the length and the width? All those skills you should be able to demonstrate. Okay, so you should be able to internalize them, to know that this is how it's done, and also to explain to someone, so in writing, using good English, very simple communicative English, to explain some of that stuff. Okay, so you explain using useful models. When you're doing the scale drawing, it's actually a model. Your house actually has schematics which you can get from the city council. If you ask your landlord, or if you ask your parents, they might actually have schematics for your house, so you can go there and then verify some of that stuff. Okay, so that you can implement them in solving the color. Okay, so this is our clutch. Okay, so anyone who would take your color should be able to follow through, and also just if someone with basic knowledge takes your color, they should be able to know that this is step 1, this is step 2, this is what I would do in order for me to actually get the color done. Okay, so that's just about it. I'll catch you in the next video, where we'll actually be explaining some models, how we have done this. Okay, so this is Yuba. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if this video gets like so much viewership, then we might consider doing fast for biology and combined science. Okay, those colors. Okay, so that's it. I'll catch you in the next video. Yuba out.